This is a Dragon Blazer production, and I am the little boogeyman.
All right. Coming down the aisle, it's the podcast tag team champions of the world, the Rage and Blaze Show. Welcome to another exciting episode of the Rage and Blaze Show. I'm Rage.
And I'm Blaze.
And today we've got a special episode. We're going to break away from the norm because we have a request. So I'm guessing this is about a 3-hour pay-per-view. This might be a 2-part episode. But we have a request from a loyal and longtime listener. Nick, if you're out there, we thank you for your support. We appreciate you listening, and we're going to give you what you want. He would like us to review Superbrawl 3 from 1993.
No. It's not just Superbrawl 3. It's WCW.
WCW.
The first time we've reviewed a WCW program on this podcast.
Oh.
Now, we have talked...
You know, I actually thought the first time was going to be Bash at the Beach is the first time we were going to do this. But thank you, Nick. We're going to jump into this a little bit quicker than we thought.
Yeah.
And if everybody knows why I thought Bash at the Beach, right?
Yes.
The birth of the NWO.
Too sweet.
But no, we're going to start with Superbrawl 3. We have never seen this that I'm aware of, and we're going to watch this blindly without knowing what's on here, with the exception of, obviously, we've seen the opening poster. The main event is Sting versus Big Van Vader.
Yes, it is. Yeah, this will be fun. This will be interesting. A little break from our norm of WWE programming. We get to see a WCW show around the same time period that we were watching in the WWF. Sorry, because we're in we're 94. This came out in what, 93 was it?
Yeah, so it's a little
earlier, but yeah, this is around the same time where we're at now. We have planned, once we get done with all these WWF shows, that we want to start hitting the WCW shows. But that's far, far in the future. And we're just going to take a quick break. And I'm sure once we do get to the WCW shows, we're probably going to go right back to ECW. I meant we're probably going to review this again.
Oh.
So we can review it in order.
Oh,
of what we're watching.
we're going to WCW. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So, but first, before we get to Superbrawl 1993, we are going to talk about what's been going on the last 2 weeks in wrestling and life in general. There has been a lot that has gone on. And the first thing is non-wrestling related. I just want to send my sincere apology or sympathies to the family of Norm Macdonald. He is one of my favorite comedians that ever came out of Saturday Night Live. I know he was not this cup of tea for everybody, but I found his dry and witty humor hilarious. Very memorable moments. I thought he was actually my favorite Weekend Update anchor throughout the whole Saturday Night Live show. I always enjoyed his Weekend Update, even as a kid when I didn't care or understand a lot of the political jokes. I still found him funny, if that makes any sense.
No, it makes a lot of sense.
As a child, a lot of the politics stuff go over your head. As you get older, I think you found that stuff more funny when you really understand and know what's going on in the world and why it's funny. But at the time in which I didn't understand all that, Norm Macdonald still made me laugh. Something about him, something about his humor. I'm Bob Dole. I mean, and then Celebrity Jeopardy, where he does Burt Reynolds' thing of comedic gold. Absolutely love.
Oh, no. It's not Burt Reynolds. Call me Turd Sandwich?
Turd Ferguson.
Or Turd Ferguson, that's right. Turd Ferguson?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not my name.
Yeah,
Burt Reynolds, not my name.
It's funny, because it's
funny.
It's a big hat.
Because it's turd.
It's a big hat.
It's a big hat.
That makes it funny. But no, just Norm Macdonald always made me laugh. I thought, and what was truly legendary was when he got brought back to host, and in his monologue, he talked about getting fired from Saturday Night Live because they told him he wasn't funny enough. But then they brought him back to host because all of a sudden now he was funny. And he's like, I don't know how somebody can get that funny in that short period of time where I was not funny enough, but now I'm so funny they want me to host.
See, I thought he got fired for saying fuck on television.
It might have been, but
I think that was the last straw.
Apparently he was told in which usually getting fired for being not funny is a lawsuit. But based off his job, guess you can't help it. But rest in peace, Norm Macdonald. Like I said, I know this is non-wrestling related, but he was one of my favorite comedians that came out of Saturday Night Live, and I'm truly going to miss him. He was only 61 years old, but 9 years he had battled cancer, and he finally succumbed to it. So,
note to self, you will be missed.
Yes. Note to self.
We have more news and more sad news. Daphne Unger passed away recently. And it was a very, very odd story. So she apparently committed suicide. She shot herself. But before that, she went on her live stream on Instagram where she was holding a gun and crying, and she said, "Do you guys not understand that I am all alone?" She asked again if anyone understood and pleaded with people to stop. She also discussed potentially suffering from symptoms of chronic traumatic encephalopathy. Not a doctor, sorry.
Not a doctor.
CTE, not a doctor.
We shouldn't make jokes, right?
Which is a degenerative brain disorder caused by repeated concussions. She said the most important thing to remember is that CTE and head injuries and concussions, they can now really only be diagnosed after you are dead. So I don't want to do anything to hurt my brain. I want to be studied. I want the future generations to know, don't do stupid shit like me. Remember, my brain goes to Boston. And apparently shortly after that, she committed suicide because she was in a lot of pain, it sounds like. And, we lost another wrestler. And this one was really a really odd way to go. Yeah. But it sounds like she was in pain. That's why she wanted to end her life. But she also wants her brain to be studied, so we learn more about these issues. So, I mean, you can take solace. She wants science. She wants to figure this out. She hopes that she can help future generations.
Yeah, this is a super sad story. It's always sad to lose a wrestler. It's even worse when it goes down like this. Earlier we said our sympathies to Norm Macdonald. It was just natural. It was a 9-year fight with cancer.
He died of cancer.
This is just completely different. She was 46 years old.
Yeah.
Obviously had some issues. And it's a shame to feel that alone. I don't know what to say about this because she was a great talent. She was very different, very stood out from the other women wrestlers. And if you ever watch Daphne, you for sure know she was. Think of Alexa Bliss now, except not on a big stage. She was just similar character. I don't want to say they're the same character, but it was just she was that creepy. She was more than just a pretty female wrestler. She was there. She had character. There was something different about her that stood out. And if you ever watched TNA Wrestling or Impact Wrestling now, you would have seen more of her. Unfortunately, I don't think she ever did work for the WWE. She did work for WCW, though.
Yeah.
But I don't think she ever had a chance to work in WWE. But she will definitely be missed.
In fairness, she was popular at a time when women wrestlers weren't really taken very seriously back then.
Yes. So, matter of fact, Nikki Cross, before she became almost a superhero, Nikki Cross actually said that her character in Insanity and that type of character she played, a lot of that attributed to being a Daphne fan.
Oh, okay.
So she definitely had influences in the wrestling world, and I wish she would have known that, because this is a sad way to go. Because
I don't know if it would have made a difference.
I don't know either, but there was people in the industry that looked up to her and respected her, and I just wanted to point that out. So, unfortunately, she felt alone. And maybe these stories that came out after she died,
I mean,
wish they would have came out before, so maybe she would have known.
I
understand
what you're saying, but there was no way, like Robin Williams didn't know that the entire world loved him, and he still suffered from a lot of issues and depression and everything, and took his own life. So when you're dealing with mental issues, the fact that everybody loves you or adores you, it doesn't always help.
Yeah. So she will also be missed. Rest in peace, Daphne. Okay, let's get to Superbrawl 3, 1993. Okay, so the first thing we get at Superbrawl 3 is a reenactment of Deliverance.
Yeah.
As they are showing past footage of the feud between Sting and Big Van Vader, and I don't want to describe what's going on in the footage that we see as soon as the show opens. But
it coincides with the scene that goes, sweet!
Let's just say I wouldn't want to be Sting in this footage. So anyhow,
his butt was stinging.
So then the very first match we get was one hell of a tag team match between the Hollywood Blondes, Brian Pillman and Stunning Steve Austin, versus Eric Watts and Marcus Bagwell. Pre-buff, of course. And obviously this is a Stunning Steve Austin with hair and without a beer gut belly.
Or a goatee.
So this is sober Steve Austin?
Sober Steve Austin.
But this match was fantastic. First thing I noticed with this show is how much, personal opinion, how much better a small match was versus, some of the matches in WWF at this time. And I'm not trying to... I'm just saying that I think a lot of WWF at this time was focusing more on high characters, just flashy characters and gimmicks, where WCW seems to be more, I think, about the wrestling and less about the high characters, the goofy characters. But this match was, in my opinion, a fantastic way to start the show. I gave it 4 sober Steve Austins.
Sober Steve Austins. I thought it was a really fun match. There was a lot of fun things. One thing I noticed is, as you said, the wrestling seems to be better at this time compared to WWF. The thing I noticed is all those really boring wrestling outfits. They all wore like the same trunks except for Mark Marrow, who had actual full-on tights.
Well, Mark Marrow didn't wrestle in this match, but we did.
I'm sorry, Buff Bagwell.
Okay, well, I thought we did.
We didn't talk about Mark
Marrow. We
did
see Johnny B. Bad at the beginning of the show.
Yeah, I'm getting them mixed. So Buff Bagwell. I'm sorry. Other than Bagwell, everyone else was just wearing trunks. the one guy. What was the Bagwell's teammate? I didn't know him.
Watts.
Watts.
Eric Watts.
Yeah, they said he was the WCW magazine wrestler of the year or something like that.
Must have been.
He had just some red trunks with Watts on the back of it. The Hollywood Blondes had black trunks with a very, very generic looking star on it. I mean, it was just it reminded me of early '80s WWF.
The star references Hollywood.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, I realize that. But no, there was some good wrestling here. There was a fun moment where Bagwell was trying to clothesline. It was Brian Pillman. And Brian Pillman just dodges, does a little, almost like a Matrix dodge, like a small Matrix dodge. And then just kind of taunted a little bit, but he didn't pay attention because he was taunting behind with his back, and he turned around and got the clothesline anyways. We got a Boston Crab, and I guess in WCW you don't tap out either, because Stunning Steve Austin was definitely tapping out, and they didn't win with that submission move. Which we have noticed in WWF as well, the same thing. Just some decent wrestling. The ending was kind of fun, where Bagwell had Brian Pillman in I don't remember, what was the submission move he was using? But at the end, he had him in a submission move, and Stunning Steve Austin jumped off the top of the rope and hit Bagwell. And apparently that was enough for Brian Pillman to get the win. But it was kind of a fun end and decent match, yeah.
Yeah, I thought so. What'd you score it?
Oh, I'm going to go with 3.5. Brian Pillman's Got a Gun. The Gun Show. And that's a reference to something Brian does later in life, where he brings a gun to a wrestling show.
Yeah, but that is a conversation for another time and another podcast.
That's right.
So let's go ahead and move on. Okay, so match 2 of the night is freaking fantastic. Would like to do a disclaimer before we get into this match.
I don't want to love this match as much as I really love this match.
We at the Rage and Blaze Show do not condone any suicidal tendencies or murders of any kind, and we do not celebrate that. But this is a wrestling show with wrestlers, and sometimes wrestlers in their personal lives do bad things. So having said that, we are going to talk about this match just in the sense of wrestlers. Just remember that. Okay, so the next match is between Too Cold Scorpio versus Chris Benoit. Like you didn't see that coming after the disclaimer. So this is literally a wrestling clinic. This match is everything you would love in wrestling. It's got high-flying counters, just drama.
They just constantly did reversals and flips and tricks.
It was just a back-and-forth match, and this is why you love wrestling. This match was amazing. I can't speak higher about this match. It's just, it's unfortunate, the situation that happens later. But like I said, this is a wrestling show. We're not going to be able to avoid him in wrestling pay-per-views. And the reality is, take away what the man was as a human being, as a wrestler in that ring, he was one of the best of all time. And I know that's hard for a lot of people to admit, but it's the truth.
Yeah, he was amazing. Too Cold Scorpio also was amazing in this match, and I just have to bring up horrible things said in hindsight without context.
Very, very eerie. You've got Jesse the Body Ventura on the mic saying Chris Benoit has that killer instinct. Then he goes on to say something about Stu Hart's dungeon, and he's referring to Stu Hart's dungeon, but he mentioned something about when you go into that basement, you're never heard from again. Very eerie stuff being said during this match.
I'm sure it wasn't a big deal at the time, but
listening to it now,
listening to it now, it's very awkward hearing Jesse the Body Ventura say, I like Chris Benoit better because he's got that killer instinct. Oh, Jesse. If you only knew.
Really, if only Peacock knew, they'd have that shit.
Yeah, I am surprised this is still here. I'm surprised they didn't edit or make the sound go down or whatever. I'm partially, and I guess I knew back a while ago they did put Benoit back on things because they got rid of him everywhere for quite a while there after everything happened. So. I guess I'm not super surprised that they didn't just cut this match completely, but I'm so glad they didn't, because holy shit, that was fantastic.
Well, hell, it would ruin the ending of WrestleMania 20 if they cut him out.
Well,
I mean, just, stuff like that. I'm definitely giving this match 5. I'm trying to figure out what's an appropriate score. 5 last-minute wins, I guess, because at the time in wrestling, they had 20-minute time limit for this match. Too Cold Scorpio got the win in the 1-2-3 at 19 minutes and 59 seconds.
Which was...
And it was extremely exciting. We're not used to time limit matches in today's WWE, but...
Well, they'll say they have a time limit in a WWE match, but they don't really, like this, so far in both these matches, they have mentioned that there's so much time left in it. Like, they really focus on it.
Yeah, they treat it like a real sporting event. Like,
yeah, you have this much time to finish this match. And WWE says it's got a time limit, and then they're like, forget about it. I'm pretty sure it doesn't matter.
Nobody's paying attention. Nobody's got us on the stopwatch. But the thing is that they have this time limit, and they actually start counting down to the match is about to be over, and they get the 1-2-3 like right at the end, and it's crazy. So it really felt very drama filled, but very exciting match. I gave it a 5.
Yeah, I'm also going to give this 5 killer moves.
I see what you did there. I thought we were going to try to be adults about this.
Jesse the Body Ventura started it.
Unfortunately, past Jesse Body Ventura did not know what he was doing. Alright, let's go ahead and move on. Okay, so the next match we have Bill Irwin versus the British Bulldog Davey Boy Smith. And this match was not as good as the first two.
This was a letdown after the first two.
But it wasn't bad. It was just kind of, there. I would give this one maybe 3 Bulldogs.
Yeah, this one was a little bit of a letdown. There was a couple cool spots. British Bulldog is a strong man. He's a strong man. That the pile suplex, the suplex where he held him up for quite a while, that's pretty impressive. And then he did his running power slam. It's pretty much all stuff we've seen before. But yeah, it wasn't terrible. I'm gonna give it a 2.5 bullwhips. Because Cowboy Bill, Yep. He came out with the bullwhip and was like I was scared for the audience. What if he just did not do that properly and he just whacked someone out there?
Well, these people are professionals.
Are they? Is he though?
So, I just thought this match was okay, and based off the first 2 matches, it just really gets overshadowed because the first 2 matches were pretty good. One was pretty great.
Yeah.
And then there was this match. Not a bad match, just was there. Okay, so the first match we get to is a hardcore match. I don't even know if they called it that or whatever they called it. Cactus Jack versus Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff. And basically, to describe this match, I can tell you all it was Cactus Jack getting his ass kicked for, 10 minutes, 12 minutes, something like that, and then deciding to get a shovel, hitting Paul Orndorff one time, and winning the match.
Glass jaw.
It's essentially, I guess it was a false count anywhere match.
And there was some brutalness that Cactus Jack dealt with. I mean, there was a suplex where Cactus Jack's back landed on the steel,
the guardrail,
and it looked painful.
Can't fake that.
You can't fake that. You can't fake that, people. And then he got Irish whipped into the guardrail and flipped over 2 guardrails.
Yeah, so so basically, in a nutshell, it to me seems like Paul Orndorff really couldn't do a lot of the hardcore taking, but he gave it because Cactus Jack can take it so well. My only issue, and the reason I'm only giving this a maybe 3.5 flips on a guardrail, I guess. We'll just go with that. I'm only giving it 3.5, and the reason I gave it such a lower score than I thought I was originally, because this match was essentially Paul Orndorff for 10 to 12 minutes beating the shit out of Cactus Jack. Yeah. And Cactus Jack getting one shovel shot, and that was the match. That's all the match was.
Yeah, it was practically a snuff film.
Yeah.
It was just torture Cactus Jack, and then he attacks his captor and hits him over the head with a shovel. I'm going to give this 3 glass jaws.
Yeah, so to me, the story they told in the match, Paul Orndorff should have won this match. As much as I would prefer, obviously, I'm a big Cactus Jack McFoley fan.
Yeah, me too.
Obviously was rooting for Mick Foley, but there's no reason for him to win this match based off the way this match went.
He's a tougher.
But that's why I gave it a 3.5. So, okay, let's keep going. Okay, so the next match feels a little like deja vu, like we've reviewed this match before. So we did this.
Yeah, sure.
We did this at Survivor Series '93, where it was the Rock and Roll Express versus the Heavenly Bodies. The only difference is that time it was in the WWF, and it was for the Smoky Mountain Wrestling Tag Team Championships. I don't believe I heard anything about any tag team championships being on the line here. So this is Jim Cornette cross-promoting his Smoky Mountain Wrestling again, as he also does when he went to the WWF. I'm going to give this match just a slight bit better score than I did last time that I watched this exact same match. By the way, this is February of 93. That was November of 93. So this was both in the same year.
Jeez.
Just, but this did happen first. I am going to give this a slight better score. I'm going to give this 3 cross promotions.
I suppose. I was legit bored of this match. The entire time I'm watching it. Bored.
I was too, but I thought the ending there was a lot going on towards the end.
I don't know, even at the end when the one Rock and Roll Express guy is holding one of the Heavenly Bodies to try to avoid him breaking up the pin, like, it didn't look like the Heavenly Body dude was even trying. It was just like, oh no. Like, he didn't seem to make any effort. Like, tell some story in that ring, man. I mean, come on.
Okay, so what do you want to rank it or score it?
1.5.
1.5. Wow.
I don't even have a cute little ending for it either. It's just 1.5 because it doesn't deserve shit.
Wow. So
I was not a fan.
So just to let the listeners know, we did review this at Survivor Series 93. I gave it a 2.5. You gave it a 2. Same competitors, different promotion.
Still bored.
Okay. All right, let's keep it going. Okay, so the next match is for the United States Championship. Dustin Rhodes is the champion. He is taking on Max Payne. And to me, this match was worse than the last match, the Heavenly Bodies versus the Rock and Roll Express. I didn't really see a lot of entertainment value out of this match. I thought this match was dull. There wasn't a lot of good spots. I actually think the match got a little tad bit more exciting when they got disqualified.
Did it, though?
Not a lot, but I thought there was
I kept watching this match and thinking, is it over yet? Is it over yet? I felt like a kid on a long car ride. Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? No. It just kept going and going and going. I am so glad that Dustin Rhodes eventually starts wearing makeup and having slightly more effeminate features as he goes on, because that made him entertaining. That made him interesting, because this was boring as shit.
Yeah, so I gave this one 1.5 walls of paint drying. Because that's what it was like to watch.
I'm giving this one, for the love of God, put paint on.
I like the way I like how you segued into that.
Yeah,
That's pretty good. Okay. All right, so I don't think we need to talk anymore about this. It was just a dull match.
Well, it's like they put all the good matches at the beginning of this show.
Yeah, and hopefully the rest of the show gets better. We still have Sting versus Vader, and let's just move along. Okay, so the next match is 25 minutes of your life you will never get back.
Oh my gosh.
It was Barry Windham versus the Great Muta for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship, and this might be the most boring World Heavyweight Championship match I think I've ever had to sit through.
I just want to cry. Just want to sit in the corner and cry.
This match was so slow and dull, and I don't know, just this show looked so good at the beginning, and then it just
blew their load. Right,
it just seems to just keep going downhill. So I don't
know if this is worse than the last match.
No, I think it's better than the last match, only to a slight degree. It really tells you how exciting the Heavenly Bodies versus Rock and Roll Express really was.
Was it, though?
I mean, based off of my score, yeah, but based off of your score, no. But I'm going to give this maybe two, I don't know, I don't even know what to give it.
I don't know.
2 face-painted wrestlers, I guess. I don't know.
There was like a 10-minute long sleeper hold, and it was working on me. On me.
That's when you know you got it hooked in right.
Yes. You're making the audience fall asleep. I have never seen so many fans not paying attention to the match.
Yeah, they actually, at one time, I think it was very early in the match, they were actually chanting, "We want Flair." And Flair, I believe, was already out there. And they were chanting, "We want Flair."
The most interesting thing to happen here is I think we saw little seeds to the beginning of the Four Horsemen. When does the Four Horsemen become a thing?
They were already a thing.
They were already a thing?
Yeah.
Was Wyndham not in there yet?
I don't know the history of the Four Horsemen enough to answer that question.
Well, I mean, Ric Flair went up there and, put the belt on him, and Wyndham looked at him like, "What the hell are you doing?"
Yeah, the Four Horsemen started in 1985. You're a little...
Holy shit, really? That's been around that long?
Yep.
I mean, I'm assuming Wyndham wasn't in it yet, so what was
Barry Windham was in it between 88 and 89, and again in 90 to 91.
So he hadn't been in it.
He wasn't in it
time.
at this time, but he was a former horseman.
Gotcha. Okay, so that even takes that takes away the possible excitement that I had for this match. With a little nugget of the Four Horsemen, I guess I really didn't watch a lot of WCW back then, so I didn't realize how long the Four Horsemen's been around. Oh, this match was so dull. I was so bored. I considered just letting him win with that sleeper hold and just sleeping through the rest of it. It was just... They blew their load in the first couple matches. I mean, there was one legit great match in the beginning. And then, what have we gotten so far?
Yeah, I don't know what else to say other than it just was a very long and just dull match. And I believe we're down to the main event now. So it's Sting versus Big Van Vader. I think that's all we have left. Let's just hope that salvages this show.
Oh, God, I hope so, because I don't know if I can handle one more crap fest like that. And I think we got like a half hour left of this show, so...
What'd you give this?
Oh, do I have to?
Yeah, you gotta give it something.
Oh, gosh, I suppose, 1.5 wake me up in the morning.
Wow. Alright, let's move on to our main event. Okay, so the main event is between Big Van Vader and Sting. It is a White Castle of Fear strap match. Basically, it's just a strap match.
It's a strap match.
Not sure why maybe White Castle promoted this thing.
Probably.
But I never saw a White Castle commercial, so I'm not sure what the reasoning for the White Castle name was. But essentially, it's a strap match. You gotta drag your opponent to all four corners of the ring and touch them in succession to win the match. This was one hell of a match. I thought this match was brutal, great at times. Both guys were freaking bleeding at the end of it. It was just a brutal and awesome main event.
I'm not sure there's any way to avoid that being real. Getting whacked with that strap. I mean... Can you name me a material that wouldn't hurt like a motherfucker?
Yeah, they definitely whacked the shit out of each other, and that's what this match was all about, is whacking the shit out of each other with straps.
It was actually a lot of fun. I liked this match. There was just a lot. I even enjoyed every single time they tried to hit all four turnbuckles, trying to get the win. Normally something exciting happened every time. Couple Vader splashes, which were fun.
There was some Stinger splashes, too.
I also kind of liked how it ended. I did like that ending. I thought that was an interesting way to end this.
Yeah. Definitely worth the wait for this match. Obviously, we had some duds in between, but this match was definitely worth the wait. I gave it 4.5 lashes.
Lashley's?
Yeah, Lashley's.
Lashley's.
Sure. We'll go with that. 4.5 lashes.
No, this was a lot of fun, and like the way, as we already mentioned, the ending was fun. It had Vader hitting 3 of the straps, or 3 of the turnbuckles, and Sting really trying to hold on to the ropes to try to avoid him getting to the final turnbuckle. Harley Race is like trying to smack Sting's hands, trying to get him off, and Sting just kicks Vader in the face, knocking Vader back, and Vader just hits the turnbuckle as he's falling backwards and gets the win. So Sting wants to beat the shit out of him with that strap afterwards, but, you know, he dug his own grave. He put that final nail in the coffin by kicking him right to the place that he didn't want him to go.
Yeah, very weird. I mean, he's supposed to be the face in the match, and he's pretty much sore loser at the end, essentially.
Really? Kind of, yeah.
But, I mean, you know, we got a couple extra hits with the strap because of it, you know. Not that Vader wasn't bleeding enough from enough strap hits. Had to get a couple extra at the end there.
Right. Yeah, I'm, what do I go with here? Tough decision. I'm gonna give this, 4 Stinger Splashes.
Sounds good. Alright, let's move on to, best match of the night. Favorite match of the night. Okay, so best match of the night is, I don't know, I don't think this is much of a surprise, but I mean, it is to a degree. So best match of the night for me would definitely have to be Too Cold Scorpio versus Chris Benoit. That was a wrestling clinic. Very, very good match. There was a couple other matches that were, you know, could have been close to the best match of the night, but that was by far the best.
Really? You think so?
A little bit.
You sure it's not that little Rock and Roll Express tag team match?
Yeah, no. We'll get to that segment later.
Not the NWA World Championship match?
No, we'll stick to that segment later.
Of course it's the Chris Benoit match. That match was fantastic. Fantastic. You don't even have to ask me. That's the right answer.
Okay.
Worst match of the night.
Worst match of the night? Well, just pick one. But I mean, there was at least 3 matches that could have easily been worst match of the night. But I'm going to have to stick with Dustin Rhodes and versus Max Payne. That, to me, I gave it a 1.5. I gave it the lowest score. There wasn't any entertaining value to that match. I found a little bit of entertainment towards the end of the Heavenly Bodies versus Rock and Roll Express. I found a little bit of entertainment, barely, in the Wyndham Great Muta match at times, but I never found very much entertainment value at all with the Rhodes and Payne match.
Yeah, I understand. So, 1 second. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo, catch a tiger by its toe. If he hollers, let him go. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Heavenly Bodies and Rock and Roll Express.
So you just kind of tossed a coin there, huh?
I mean, no, I did eeny, meeny,
Yeah.
miny, mo.
Yeah. So,
I mean, I want to pick all 3. I mean, all 3 of them. Heavenly Bodies versus Rock and Roll Express. Rhodes versus Max Payne and Barry Windham versus Muta. All 3 shit shows. I mean, I don't know which one. I mean, technically, I probably could go with Windham and Muta because they literally started making me fall asleep. It was so boring. I mean, I don't know if that's impressive or sad, but, you know.
I think what made it worse is those 3 matches were the worst of the night.
And
all 3 of them. They were in succession. It's like we had a pretty decent, good show going on. I mean, I only gave Cactus Jack and Orndorff 3.5 because I felt the story was, lacking. Just you're showing yourself beating up one guy for the whole match, and then you just kind of turn around and this is the guy that wins, and it just kind of was weird. But the match itself was entertaining. But after that match, there was not much entertainment until the main event.
Yeah, no, I mean, those matches were so boring, I forgot we got Cactus Jack. I legit forgot about Cactus Jack. And I enjoyed that match.
Yeah. All right, so let's go ahead and plug the pluggables, and we'll go ahead and end this thing.
All right, well, you can find me on the Rage... yeah, you got me there. You can find me on Dragon Blazer Productions on Facebook, the Instagram, the YouTube. You can also find me on Dragon Blazer Pro on the Twitters. And if you give me a moment, you go ahead and plug your pluggables, and I'll give you our phone number.
Okay, you can find the Rage and Blaze Show on Facebook. You can find at the Rage and Blaze Show on Instagram, and at Ricky Rayberg on Twitter.
Alrighty then. And then you can also, if you'd like so much, to give us a good old phone call and tell us how you feel, what you think about, how we're doing, or, give us an idea of something you want us to watch. Our voicemail is 567-443-0663.
Okay, that's going to do it for this episode of the Rage and Blaze Show. We will be back with our continuation of the WWF pay-per-views on the next podcast.
Yeah, and thank you, Nick, for giving us the suggestion for WCW Superbrawl 3.
Yeah, it was a nice change of pace.
Yes, there was 2 really good matches on here. We got to see Cactus Jack. We won't talk about the other 3 matches that, but we appreciate it. You giving us this suggestion. We love hearing from people, and
it was nice getting to see sober Steve Austin.
Sober Steve Austin, absolutely. And this time you're making fun of someone that's Steve Austin, who actually is Steve Austin.
Yes.
Last time you did not. I was not a Steve Austin at all.
It was not. So, this has been the Rage and Blaze Show. I'm Rage.
And I'm Blaze.
And good night from Rage's Pit.
Hey everyone, this is Blaze from the Ragin' Blaze and the Boomer and Blaze show. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe for more wrestling content.